All right. So I finally saw The Apprentice, and I've been wanting to see it for a really long time. It was a really great film. I knew it was going to be. The reviews were great. You guys, the acting was spectacular. I held off on seeing it because honestly, I just have a really hard time watching anything that's going to absorb more of my time and attention from that has to deal with this administration and the monster that is before us. So, I thought it was fantastic. The actors were fantastic. Sebastian Stan, Jeremy Strong, Maria Baklava. Really human experiences. And here's the thing: if you're playing a bad guy, you got to find the humanity in them. And we don't really see Roy Cohn's humanity until the very end, where he's forced to face his choices in his life. And the film does a really great job. Cinematography is phenomenal, acting is phenomenal, story structure, storyline, phenomenal. There are three principal rules. Now, we can talk about filmmaking, we can talk about character, we can talk about all of that stuff, and I'm happy to do that, happy to go back into the specificities. I can't play the scenes on YouTube, so I'm not going to do that. For copyright issues, there are spoilers in what I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to give away a lot, but I'm going to give away some main variables. So if you haven't seen it, I do recommend seeing it. And then I do recommend coming back to this video once you have seen it so that I'm not giving anything away. There's three rules that Roy Cohn puts into play. Roy Cohn is also mentioned in and is a character in a play called Angels in America, and that's where I came to was introduced to him many years ago. And I did some research on him because, if you're reading the play, you want to know who these characters are, and if they're real life human beings, then you want to, have some information on them. Not a good person. And we see this happening so many times, and it's all coming to the surface. It is this self-hatred, self-loathing, insecurity, never good enough. The only way I have value is if I am incredibly wealthy and I can have power over other people. And we're going to see that play out consistently in these three rules. So one of the first scenes in the film, and again, if you don't want spoilers, then you might want to come back to this video after you've seen it. One of the first scenes in the film, Trump is on a date, and he takes this girl to this restaurant or hotel or whatever, and they start talking, and he is explaining to her that there's this powerful person, there's this powerful person, and then there's this powerful person. If you watch the film, you're going to be able to see everything that I'm saying, and everything that is in the film holds true. They did an incredible job of researching multiple resources, fact-finding, consistent information throughout that backs up everything that happens in the film. And yes, all films elevate some sense of story narrative. I don't think this one honestly does. It condenses things because that's what you have to do in storytelling. Okay, so that's one of the first scenes. It's just before he meets Roy Cohn. It's literally just before he meets Roy Cohn. And he goes to this, and he's talking to this girl who's beautiful, and he's describing these men as powerful and the who's who, and just there's this envy with him. There's this, how do I measure up? How do I become as powerful as them, etc. The girl goes to powder her nose or to go to the restroom, and she never comes back. It's like when you're watching. It's like when you're listening to Crime Junkies or, a real crime drama. She got away. She got away. All right. I'm having wine. So then he meets Roy Cohn almost directly after that, and they develop a relationship. Roy Cohn can see in him the kind of person that he can mold using the process of these three rules, and it's going to work really well. So once they become in relation with one another, Roy Cohn says these are the three rules, and there are scenes where you can see T-Rump observing this whole process. And you can see, actually, the humanity in him is questioning. He says, is that legal? And you can see in his body, there is a compass of morality going, this isn't, questioning it. I believe that to be true. I believe at the core of all of us, we are, good people. And I think that, what we see in the relationship between Trump's father, Fred, and Trump, and then also in the relationship that his brother had, and the dysfunction of his brother, the alcohol, the never being good enough. That scene is played out that relationship is played out, and his brother is broken. He is broken down over time, never good enough, never ever going to be able to get approval from his father. And in one way, the brother self-destructs because you can't manage if you're never going to be good enough. No matter what you do, nothing is ever going to, no matter what you do, nothing's ever going to be good enough. And then T-Rump sees all of that, and you can see, makes the conviction that is not going to be me. And you can see the way T-Rump deals with his father is by challenging him and hearing what his father is saying. You don't know what you're talking about. You're never going to be good enough. This is listen to me. I know best. And then T-Rump ends up finding this Roy Cohn figure. This Roy Cohn figure gives him these 3 rules. So the 3 rules. Number 1 is to attack. So if you want something, then you go on the attack. If someone is opposing you, then you attack. There's a context with this, specifically with Caitlin Jennings, who is having a conversation. This is recent. You can look it up. I'm not going to play it. And she's having a conversation with T-Rump, asking him questions. And it goes along, and finally it's about the Epstein files. And he goes and he counters her, and then he just starts berating her, attacking her, and making she's not a good reporter, she's stupid, she doesn't smile, she should smile more, and the reason why she's phony is because because she's not being truthful. So he goes on the attack. That's when you guys, when he is on the attack, that's when you know that he is in jeopardy. And that's what he's experiencing right now, and that's why we are all in this system. Okay, so imagine if you just personify, if you just put it into a personal perspective. If somebody comes in and says, and attacks you, you're immediately thrown off guard. You don't know where it's coming from. And then with that attack, you're on the defense, and you're trying to defend yourself the entire time. So imagine that as a society. As a society, we have been attacked. Why? Because we didn't vote for him in 2020. There's enough people who didn't vote for him in 2016 to make him angry. And then in 2024, it's questionable. It's questionable. And so what does he do? He goes on the attack. And what is he doing to our society? He is attacking our society. He's attacking the institutions. So that's number 1, attack. Number 2 is never admit anything. Deny everything. We see it over and over again. Denying, relations, denying, I don't know her, I never met her, denying, the relationship he had with, the E-file dude. So anyway, all of that is just deny. Just never admit anything. And these are, number 2, those are the 2 first ones. This is supposed to be how you win at all costs, individual winning. And then the number 3 is claim victory at all costs. Claim victory and never admit defeat. Never admit defeat. So we play the tape back to 2010, 2015. On the attack, you can even see on the attack motivation was with Essential Part 5. Let's go all the way back to that. That was an attack to create chaos, to create conversation, to create this movement of energy. And if you go on the other side of that, then you don't admit it. Birther movement, the whole, birther thing with Obama, that was an attack. It was fake. And it was done to get attention. It was done to win over a side. Okay. Third thing, and what Roy Cohn presents in this, is that no matter what, you always claim victory. All right. I'm gonna end with the always claim victory, and I'm gonna go backwards. So always claim victory means that I never acknowledge fault. And for a leader, you have to be able and be willing to acknowledge your shortcomings, acknowledge where you fall short, acknowledge where you might have done something or had an opinion or a thought process that didn't work. If you don't do that, then you can't evolve, you can't grow, you can't shift. If you always claim victory no matter what, there's no recourse. There's no recourse to you losing. There's no way that you're going to go in and say, okay, well, if I lost, then what do I get to do better next? There's none of that. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you see this playing out, now you see the entire administration. The entire administration is trained by this. You see it with Pam Bondi. You see it with Caroline Levitt. That is exactly how, that's their MO. Those three things. You cannot unsee it once you see it. This is not good leadership. This is bad leadership. This is narcissistic. This is sociopathy. Anyway, so the film is incredible. The cinematography is beautiful. There is a scene and where you see the inciting incident, and it's when his brother dies. Yeah, spoiler alert, sorry. And by the way, the story's already out there because it's a biopic. His brother dies, and Trump is a mess. You see the last shred of humanity, and he's laying in bed with Ivana, and she is trying to console him. And you can see the monster born. And it is this moment of deflection, vulnerability. And that vulnerability is required to be a good leader. And you can see his humanity. And he chose to deflect, push her aside, etc. What is coming to the surface in all of this, and with these people who have been particularly influential, and I don't mean influential in a good way, in our culture, in our society, is that self-loathing, self-hatred, insecurity without acknowledgement of fault, believing that in order for you to be a man, you must have all of these things, you must have the tallest building, you must have all the pretty women, you must harm people in order to get what you want. Most people, most of us do not, that's not who we are. We want to take care of our families. We want to take care of one another. We want to go camping. We want to have vacations. We want to work. We want to have a job that we enjoy. This greed and this power. And then once you accrue, and this is why we don't need billionaires, and it's true, because once you acquire that much wealth, there's no accountability, and we're seeing it play out. This isn't about socialism, and it's the underbelly, insecurity, self-loathing, inability to acknowledge or fear who we are, to fear who I am because it doesn't measure up to someone else's idea of what power is, of what manliness is, of masculinity, of success is. And when you're in that, and we see this, we want to destroy, when we ourselves have an idea of what, we are supposed to be, and then we see other people living happy lives that are not wealthy, that are, have their families, and it's one unit, that are, out and, in loving relationships, that are living their best life, dancing on stages, living the life that they want to, and they're bringing joy to the world. That is such a threat to so many people, because we're told that being gay is wrong. You're not a man if you are. Women, have their certain place, and so there's certain groups of people that lash out at women to hold them down. the Black community, who is incredibly powerful and strong and has overcome so much, that when people are living their best life and not playing by the rules that, religion or, the Wall Street people, or, when people are living their best lives and are happy, the people that have compromised their soul, compromised their authenticity, their integrity, because they've been told that that thing is supposed to be really, that's what's supposed to be what manliness is and power is. Those of us who are happy, living our best life, that is a contradiction to what they've been told and what they've compromised in their life, become a threat. And so at the end of the film, Roy Cohn, was in 80s and 90s. He was a closeted homosexual. He was self-loathing and power hungry, and he ends up, being, one of the statistics in New York. And I've often thought, that HIV is in many ways, or it was. I'm not saying it is now, but it was in many ways. It was avoidable, and it was under people weren't paying attention. Reagan wasn't paying attention to it. I'll go into that into more detail later. But it is self-loathing and shame hiding in the corner. It is fear of your own true authenticity, falling into this idea of what something needs to be for self-preservation. Anyway, the film is fantastic. I highly recommend it. It is possible to watch it from a artistic lens. There are so many moments that are just so powerful, beautifully done, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I knew those 3 rules. I knew the 3 rules before I saw this film because I knew who Roy Cohn was. We got to stop this, people. It's okay. And to my guys out there, gay, straight, bi, be you, man. Be you. And there's no idea of what you have to be in order to be a man. Like, you are a man. Like, you are a human being. And it is going to, we must be challenged by other people. We must be challenged by women and I mean, one of my favorite groups of people to learn from and observe and listen to, as a collective and as a general rule, are Black women. And I mean, as far from me as I can possibly get. But what they have been able to overcome, adversity and challenges, learning, they know. See, they must learn the white heteronormative and patriarchal system in order to overcome it. They must see it, they acknowledge it, they've learned it, they know it, and they know how to manage it. They also know their story, and they know their role in this, and it behooves all of us. Honestly, it behooves all of us. If you haven't had a Black woman call you baby in a little while, and there's a lot of things in that baby. It feels good. It feels like you got to sit up straight. It feels like you got to think about things before you say them. Anyway, that's the film, The Apprentice. It's really great. Congratulations to all the actors in it. You guys really did a great job. I think I would have to do a considerable amount of taking a period of time off to wash all that grossness off of me after a while, because these are really bad people. They're really bad. And if you still support this, you're bad. But you don't have to. You don't have to. It might take you some acknowledgement of self. It may be difficult for you to admit. And this is one more thing to my religious friends and Christian friends. There's no praying our way out of this. There is no praying. You can do that. But this God also gave you feet and gave you hands. And every Sunday you go to church and you tithe, you give with your hands and physical dollars. That's physical action. And the preacher this is going to require action on your part. And there's no denial in it. I've had, people in my messages and family, not acknowledging what's happening. And I know who they don't pray. I mean, you can pray if that works. And you need to be out there, and you need to be taking care of your. All right. Peace out. Much love.